Yes, Kritika, we can hear you. You can hear you.
Can I start now?
Yes, Kritika, we can start.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I hope you all are having a good time. And I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Kritika, and I'm a first year research scholar here. And today, on behalf of my department, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you all for our Open House 2023 session. And today, the House of ET is open for all of you to have an immersive and interactive experience with our faculty and with our past and current students. And we hope that you will get a valuable experience after this event. I would like to start by giving you a quick glimpse about the tentative schedule and agendas of this event. So, we'll start with a brief introduction about the department, its vision, history, and objectives. Then, moving on to the insights into learning opportunities at ET and future prospects, followed by what we do here in this department, and we will end with a Q&A session in which we'll be addressing all your queries. So, starting with the very first subsection of the,
Kritika, can you tell,
sorry,
are you, would you have to also share the slides?
oh, sorry,
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
I just forgot.
Do you have can you share or do you need access to that?
I think I need it.
Wait a second.
I think you have to give the permission round.
Wait a second.
Maybe you can do that after the history wala intro because I don't have any slides.
Um, sure, sir, sure. You can
Okay.
go ahead and
All right,
meanwhile, I
yeah,
will give
so-
her the.
Correct. Meanwhile, you do that. Yeah. So, welcome everybody. I am Sridhar Iyer, one of the faculty in the department. So, I'll just quickly give you an overview of ET as a department, where we started from, where are we, where we are hoping to go. And then I'll hand it over back to the students to take you through the presentation. So, ET started in 2010 with a PhD program. And at that time, there were two faculty, myself and Professor Sahana Murthy, who is the current head of the department. She's unable to join today. Then we had about 20 students in the first batch, in the first couple of batches. And subsequently, we hired more faculty, we got more students, we started an MTech program and so on. And currently, we are at a point where there are about 25 PhD students have graduated. I think more than 15 MTech students have graduated. There are about 25 PhD students on the rolls, and an equal number of MTech students are on the rolls. Okay, so this is basically the strength, and there are 5 faculty in the department as of now. So this is basically the strength of the department that we are. And what we do is, one of our objectives was to look at this education space in the country and see what are all the various things that need to be done. Okay, so one of the areas that we work on is to identify what are these long-term skills that students need to build, which go beyond just simply learning of content. And we build learning environments and systems for inculcating or nurturing these skills in students. Another vertical is about analytics, and what many of you will be already familiar with or would have heard of, this area of AI in education and data science and so on. And the third major area that we work on is on teacher training. So many of our students are interested in us and improving models of education and so on. So that is a third vertical that we have. And the fourth one is basically purely for fun, largely for fun, which is where we buy some new cool technology each year and play with them and try to figure out how to use those technologies in learning. As an example, a couple of weeks down the line, there's going to be a panel discussion on use of chat GPT in education. So this is broadly the areas that the department works on. And as the event progresses, you will get to know more. And you can also, if you have specific questions, since there are many of you, and I'm sure you're from diverse areas, what I request is that you can just put one line in the chat as to background. Where are you an MTech student, or are you already a PhD student elsewhere? And if you have any other queries, also specific queries, if you put in the chat, then we'll be able to address them quite effectively. So with that, welcome to this event, and back to you, Kritika.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for shedding a light on this. And I would like to share with our audience that Sridhar sir has been a true visionary of ET even before ET was started. So none other person could have been a better person to share about this. So with that, I would like to move upon to the next subsection of this event. Um, is the presentation visible, Ram?
Yes.
So the next, in the next subsection, we will be talking about learning opportunities at ET and future prospects by our two ET alumni, Lakshmi ma'am and Deepak ji. So I would like to request them to address our audience on this.
There was some data issue from their side. I have dropped out for now. Can you go ahead with the student presentation? Meanwhile, I will get in touch with both of them.
Yes, okay. So we'll come back to that later. So let's maybe we should start with giving you a glimpse about what we do here. So I would like to start by sharing with you our timeline from where the department was started and what all we have done till now. So like starting from 2010 when the department was started with the PhD program. Then moving on to 2012 when there was design and development of learning environments for teaching learning skills like micro thinking. Then in 2013 we started an outreach program with 10,000 teachers. And then in 2014 500 plus students trained using learning environment for the thinking skills. In 2016 we started two MOOC course as well. And then we also hosted one conference T4E. In 2018 there was exploration of emerging technologies for education, which sir just talked about: AR, VR, 3D printing, Mayo bands, etc. In 2019 we started with our first MTech batch. Then in 2021 we hosted one EdTech hackathon in which 15 teams participated with the 51 participants. In 2022, our EdTech Society launched, and here we are today. So now I would like to share about the four core thirst areas in which our department works in. So these are teacher use of educational technology, or what we call as TUIT. Then there is technology enhanced learning of disciplinary practices, or TLEAD. Third area is the educational data analytics or EDA. And fourth one is exploration of emerging technologies for education or emerge. And now first years will be sharing about these areas a bit in detail. So I would like to request my friend Arjun to start with the very first core thirst area, which is TUIT or teacher use of educational technology.
Thank you, Kritika, and good morning to one and all. So, my name is Arjun Prasad. I'm first year PhD student in the department. So, as Kritika rightly pointed out, there are four domains in which our research is primarily focused in. Our first area is the teacher use of educational technology or TUIT. Can you move to the next slide? Okay. So before introducing into the research domain, I would like to show some of the products which we have or the models which we have developed in our department, which is the first one is the learner-centric MOOC model. So as mentioned in the slide, it is a conceptual model which an instructor can use to create and conceptualize resources. So basically, such a model was developed to provide effective instructions, and this model act as a guideline for teachers to prepare their content and provide instruction in a very effective manner. Uh, yeah, it consists of these four different elements like learning dialogues, learning by doing, learning extension trajectories, learner experience interactions. So when an instructor or a teacher tries to include the different elements of these in in their instruction in the classroom or online classrooms, especially, the instruction becomes much more effective, or the learning happens better in a better way. Can you move to the next slide, please? Yeah, this is another model developed in our department. So basically, one important focus in this research domain is providing large number of training programs to teachers for their professional development. So one of our previous PhD scholar, Lucian, he has developed this A2 IT2 model where through a cascade of steps, uh, we are trying to improve the effectiveness of the trainers. So we provide training at different levels. So according to this model, a teacher follow a certain path of learners to learning assistants, co-trainers, etc. From a master trainer. So this is actually focused on providing effective teacher professional development programs. Next slide, please. So this is another important tool which was developed in our department called ISAT. So one important aspect in a classroom is trying to understand the dynamics of students, like how they perform, how they engage with the content being taught in the class. So this web tool, it helps the teacher in understanding the different levels or the students' attributes, and thereby provide guidance to the teacher to maybe tweak or change the mode of instructions or the level of instruction, maybe providing better content, etc. So it acts as a guiding tool for teachers in providing effective pedagogy. Next slide. Yeah. So overall, under this domain, our focus are mainly on research, development, and providing outreach, where we try to understand teachers' beliefs, their practices, and also we try to develop tools technology-based tools for teachers, um, evaluation of digital education content, etc. And also, under the outreach, we provide large-scale faculty development programs and also tries to mentor teachers in ET research. Next slide. So under this, as I mentioned before, one of the subdomain was outreach. And under our TWET program or area, we have developed a set of guidelines which help different stakeholders like governments or people in the educational sector to to get a better picture about the different edtech products available in the country. So we have developed a set of guidelines to evaluate maths, English, and science subjects, especially in the grades K to 12. And we have many state governments have already taken this taken these guidelines to help them make procurements decisions in their states. And as part of this program, we have conducted a large number of online as well as offline programs and have trained more than 1 million teachers and conducted several programs across the country, as you can see in the map given in the slide. Yeah, next slide, please. Okay. So our second domain, our research domain, our department is currently focused in is technology enhanced learning of disciplinary practices or TLEAD. Next slide, please. Yeah. Can you click again? Okay. So basically, in the vision of this research domain is to support or foster conducive research environment to design evidence-based tools, strategies, or learning environments to learn different practices in education. So we follow a design-based research where we try to identify the problem, analyze and explore the different skills and learnings, and design and develop an appropriate learning environment, and also evaluate the one. So basically, we follow an iterative cycle where we try to understand each steps and try to refine them. Uh, so yeah, next slide, please. So sorry, previous slide. So this is an overview of the important, some of the main projects happening in this area, where we try to understand the different practices involved. As you can see from the title, so we try to understand uncertainty management, then students' feedback, like how the student feedback or the linkage between the student feedback and their learning, and also trying to understand the estimation problem in how it is being addressed in a computer supported collaborative learning using an open-ended learning environment. Then the project on Perspex is basically a virtual reality project. Then we have a GeoSolver project, and then projects based on makerspaces. Next slide, please. Yeah. Can you click again, Kritika? So due to the interest of time, I would like to focus on some of the on these two important projects, where one is to, as I pointed out earlier, we try to understand the nature of students' feedback seeking actions and its role in developing disciplinary competence like representational competence in chemistry. So so basically our large aim is to inform sustainable feedback practices in education. So we try to understand how a student learn through these feedbacks, providing feedback, and how it gets affected in their learning throughout their learning process. And the yeah And other one was the perspectives was focusing on investigating the effects of virtual reality based perspective taking on learners noticing during decision making in a complex public scenario. So we try to understand how a person thinks, their perspective thinking when they are in a complex public scenario, like when they are driving in an open space and in through a city, etc. So that's a VR based project. Yeah, next slide, please. So overall, so we try to understand the different disciplinary practices happening. So because these disciplinary practices are used by professionals like scientists, engineers, and designers to do work and achieve their goal. So we try to understand these disciplinary practices more in detail in this research area. Yeah. Coming to the impact of this research domain, so our research has contributed to better understand how students learn in different settings and why they struggle while learning. So, and the learning process might get, so what all support they need, when such support they need, etc. And also we try to help teachers design their classroom activities to support the student learning and to enable learners to take control of their own learning process. So as part of this, we have also a subdomain of outreach. Our outreach handle, through which we have successfully trained over 2,000 students in various disciplinary areas. And most of the systems we have developed are standalone. That means students can use them to learn both at home, or the teachers can use it as a supplementary tool to teach the students in classrooms. And also the tools which we have developed are being used by researchers further to expand the research horizons. And they have many have created better systems or strategies building on our research. Yeah. So with this, I would like to invite Setu to take it further. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Arjun. So, hello everyone. I will be, yeah, sure. So, watching the video again, okay, we'll discuss on this. So, before I start my content, first I would like to convey something like I basically I'll be covering the educational data analytics, EDA research. So basically, we have two professors in our department, existing department strength. We have two professors, Professor Ritan Mitra and Professor Ram Kumar Rajendran. They are working in this educational data analytics. But before I start anything, I would like to tell you something. Like if I was following the chat, and I can understand one thing, that it seems to be like a lot of diversification is there. People are there from the mathematics, people are there from the science background, teaching background, engineering background, agriculture background, and that's the beauty of educational technology. So when you will come into the department, when you'll join the department, you'll get to know that this diversity we are already catering in our department. So that's the strength of our department actually. So now further to this, let's have a discussion, right? So let me start like this. What is your expectation? If you can share in chat what you are expecting in next 10 to 15 minutes. And I would request my colleagues to allow me to take some more extra time if it takes me to establish an interaction. Yeah. So anybody who would like to share the expectations, what you are expecting in probably next 10 or 15 minutes, considering that I will be explaining the EDA, Educational Data Analytics.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hi, my name is Rhythm.
yeah.
Uh, I am from a computer science background and a PhD student in EdTech and AI.
Great.
So I think I would be expecting is that data analytics helps us not only identify the general trend, but also like each and every student's strengths and weaknesses and how
Okay.
we can improve further.
Sure. So you will
Maybe
be
something that
expecting.
are general.
Okay, so let me just try to consolidate this. So maybe you are expecting some more insights of data analytics, maybe like how it is working or something like that, right?
And how student learns, like how data analytics can
Sure,
beautify this education process.
sure. That will be a pleasure for me to share. Anybody else who would like to share? You can feel free to share on the chat as well.
Hi, I am Lieutenant Tushar Patle from
Yeah,
IIS Shivaji.
yeah,
I feel that this learning analytics has a much more wide role in analyzing the simulator-based learning, where
huh,
we can understand the behavior of the trainees
okay,
and we can implement and we can change the methodologies for the
huh, huh,
process-based learning. And
hmm,
also not only in this simulator-based learning,
hmm,
there is much more in the analyzing the final examination marks
hmm.
and correlating with the ELKT marks, early examination marks, and analyzing that performance, which will give us the insight to how to change the strategies, which are strategies of learning we need to implement.
Sure. So I can trace it back. Like again, you are also expecting the insights, maybe some insights, how EDA is working or something like that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, sure. We'll be talking about that. Possible collaborations, how to, yeah, that's great. So I always believe in this, that know your listener is very important actually. So I should know that what is, and I request everyone to please keep yourself on mute. Maybe there can be some disturbance or something like that. That is the only reason. And feel free to unmute you whenever you want to have a communication, right? So that's what you expect from me. And in response to that, actually, I also expect something from you guys. So what do I expect from you is, yeah, just give me a not of course a couple of moments, but there is some stuck in the slide. That is why I'm asking, just 1 second, please. Yeah, better. So is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes, it.
Yeah, I hope. So that's what you expect from me, as you said, right? I also expect something from you, okay, from the next 10-15 minutes. And what do I expect? 10 kadam. Any curiosity? What is this 10 kadam? So somebody would like to pitch into this? Okay, so let me take the initiative actually. So don't worry, this 10 kadam is not such a big thing. It's just that I truly believe that in spite of having a one-way conversation that I'm constantly saying and you are constantly listening, feel free to be interactive enough. Feel free to discuss something. Okay, so that finally out of this communication, we can make something interactive and effective, right? So this 10 kadam is just that in spite of one person saying everything and showing his dum, let's let the 10 people, maybe I was just thinking that if 10 people are in the conversation, so from that I made it. So let's all 10 people involve into this actively, and let us show the 10 kadam. So that that was the overall idea behind it, right? Fine, so let's go next. Moving on to the next thing, right? So before we get into this, let me tell you, I'm also considering maybe everybody does not belongs to the same domain. So I'm trying to make it feasible to everyone, right? So that's what my overall agenda. And definitely I'm making sure that whatever conversations you wanted to had, like two people have shared their expectations. So we will be covering that. That is my assurance. So before we get into the next slide, let's have some conversation. So when I was a student, I'll just take 1 minute to share my background. I was a very poor student. during my schooling, maybe my graduation also. So I used to struggle a lot in understanding the concepts. By the way, I'm a computer science background person. So BTech, BE, MSc, MTech, these are just degrees. Background is computer science. So plenty of times it happens that I used to ask a question, and maybe other classmates or maybe my professor was not agreeing that it's a valid question or something like that. So this happened with me. So I would like all the participants to raise a hand if you also felt so ever in the career, in your schooling, or maybe in your graduation, post graduation, wherever, does not matter. You have asked a question and professor or maybe teacher asked that leave the classroom. It's a stupid question. Huh? Okay. So it's interesting to see that some people have raised the hand. So let me see. Uh, yes, we can see one hand raise. Good to see. Fine. Moving on to the next scenario, huh? Three participants have raised the hand. So I'm happy to listen that. I'm happy to see that I'm not the only one who faced this. Okay, fine. Let's discuss another thing. A topic which seems to be difficult to you only, maybe because of your background or something like that, only you are struggling, right? Maybe it is easy for majority of the students, and that is why professor is not ready to give so much extra attention to that topic, because rest of the people are quite comfortable. So anybody who faced the same situation, show a raise hand. Let's see, like, how many of us are connected to the scenarios actually. Okay, so again we can see 4 or 5 participants, huh? So like that we have got something else. Previous lecture was already heavily loaded with lot of difficult concepts. Maybe it belongs to some other subject. Let's say, like if I talk about computer science, so let's say my previous lecture has been data structure lecture, and the next lecture is COA lecture. Both subjects are difficult. In both subjects we have complex topics. So let's say previous lecture was already very heavy, and the next lecture also, in this lecture, next lecture also, lot of difficult topics are going to be discussed. Maybe I'm not ready to take it right now. Anybody who felt so, who faced this situation, you can show a raise hand. So every time I can see that 2 3 people, 4 people, 5 people, 6 people, they have actually get into such situations, right? Another, monotonous teaching, like no interaction tools. For example, a simple teaching like that typical blackboard teaching where a professor or a teacher is coming, using the board, writing something, asking you to copy the contents from the board, and that's it, and it's done, right? So I faced all these situations. So I'm just trying to find out that am I alone to face all these things, or are there other participants, right? So as the raise hand number, as you can see on the screen, it shows me that we all have faced. And this was my feeling, huh? When I was doing graduation, this was a very famous song at that point. So whenever I face such kind of situation, so this was my feeling. Why this collaborating? Why I cannot have that extra attention, or why I'm not allowed to ask questions, or why this is happening with me, right? Of course, because everybody is doing this education or any kind of education to learn new things, right? So let me say this to you guys. In EDA, we are working on the problems. So as EDA section for education technology, we try to find out solution to such kind of problems. How we find out, for that we are going to discuss further, right? But before we discuss further, let me show you something from the existing project, what we have. There's something from the existing project, like, so this is one project, just one project, and we have a lot of other projects in our department which are currently going on. Okay, so this is one project called teacherly.com. It's already hosted on web, so definitely you can also go and have a look at the website. Of course, not right now, I'm expecting, but yes, if you are interested, later on you can see this website, right? But here I would like to share something in this video, right? So allow me to share the sound of my system also so that you can listen to the content as well. Okay, so just give me a moment. I'm sharing it again and sharing the screen with you. I hope it's again visible. And if one of us can give me the feedback, is it audible as well?
The use of online video lectures.
Was it
Yes, sir.
audible?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
good to see. Okay, fine. So this is a short video, just a 1 minute or just a 1 minute 57 seconds videos. Have a look at this. You will have a glimpse that how we are working, and like at least what we are working, that you will have a glimpse after this. Later I'll explain.
Is continuously rising due to the flexibility it provides to students to learn anytime and anywhere. However, students face certain challenges with learning from video lectures, such as not understanding the content, finding the content too difficult, or even getting disengaged from it. But the students are not able to communicate their problems primarily because of the physical separation between students and the teacher. On the other hand, the teacher also finds it difficult to get a clear picture of how students are learning from the video lectures and whether the lecture materials are effective for learning. This motivated us to develop a very simple but powerful tool that makes collecting and analyzing student feedback easy. And this is Teacherly. The process of using Teacherly is simple. You create a course, post a lesson, and share it with your students. The students then can just use the link and watch the video lecture on the feedback interface, which allows them to provide real-time feedback while watching the video lecture. Feedback from individual students is then aggregated to generate class feedback. The teacher can then access the class feedback on a dashboard that allows them to understand how students are learning from the lecture. The dashboard helps teacher to identify what is making students engaged, where they are struggling, and why they are struggling. It allows the teacher to bookmark important sections and log findings based on the feedback analysis. This assists them in taking appropriate actions and decisions regarding instruction, such as revising a particular concept, planning synchronous discussion based on what students found challenging, or even refining videos for the next course offering. So, Teacherly opens up opportunities for teachers and students to communicate better and together create effective teaching learning experiences.
Yeah, so if you, just imagine if you get an opportunity to work on such kind of project or to develop such kind of project, would you find it really interesting and a good opportunity to work? Just show me some response on the chat. If you find it interesting, just write interesting in the chat. So if you get an opportunity, so that's what we are doing. This is just one sample of that. What we educational technology and as a domain, what we as EDA are doing, right? Just
The
one
use of
sample of that. So let me come to the educational data analytics now. Okay, from there we begin, and I'll try to get into the questions what is being asked in the beginning, right? But before I come and pitch that, so if you are if you are joining EDA, so always remember this, huh? We believe only in God. Everybody else has to bring data. So we believe in data or in God. Right? So that's our tagline. Yeah. So this is what we have as educational data analytics. So let me say few things about it. So this is, I hope my pen is also visible on the screen, right? Can one of us give a feedback on this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay, that's great. So this is student, right? And this is the learning environment. Different examples of learning environments are there. Maybe it can be an online. In online, we can have recorded lectures. We can have live classes. It can be a face-to-face class. It can be a proper classroom. So a lot of different learning environments exist, right? So from the learning environments, actually, we do collect data by using different sensors. It can be an eye tracker, It can be a log data. It can be an EEG. I'll give you little insights from this also. It can be a GSR. It can be a face cam. And this is just a glimpse of that. A lot of such sensors and a lot of such modalities exist actually. Okay. Now, based on that, we do create a model, and that model gives personalized feedback. Plus, it also helps to design the interventions. It also helps to design the interventions. Interventions means, for example, let's say if we want to change our process or we want to add something to make it more easy and feasible for the learners. So we do design such kind of things based on the data what we have received from the different modalities. So modalities is nothing but just the way to access the data. For example, through eyes. Now, what can be the changes that I will tell you? Okay, so let me just give you few more glimpse of this, and then I'll tell you some insights from the multiple sensors, right? So that's what the vision for the ADA data analytics, right? Of course, I'm not going to read this theory. This you can this you can read. It's quite easy. Okay, and this is something very important. So that's where we focus. That's where we focus. Cognition and effect, right? So here cognition is those cognitive processes which are going in our body or mind. So we try to understand, or let's keep it in very simple words, that is it being easy to understand a certain concept or not? And that we directly track from your body by using different types of sensors, right? By the way, log data is is the track of your activities, what you are performing on a certain platform. For example, right now, if I'm clicking a certain position, a certain button, or maybe like, for example, right now you can see that I'm actually rotating my mouse towards a line or something like that. Okay, so that is what we call log data. Fine. Learner engagement and learner behavior. This is something very important for us to focus, right? We focus on this, that how to measure the engagement. Is my learner engaged with me or not, or how he is behaving? Okay, so that's what we study. And after studying these things, we do design either the intervention or the feedback, or maybe both of them, right? If you could see, Teacherly was exactly doing that. If you can map now, right? So it was trying to observe the behavior, whether person is getting bored or he's engaging or he's disengaged, and it gives the feedback to the teacher. And based on that, teacher can set that how he or she should teach, right? So these are the overview of research actually. So these are the three different elements what we are touching. Emotions. So when somebody's coming to a lecture, to attend a lecture, so before that or maybe during that, how he's feeling, he or she is feeling, right? So all these things, boredom, frustration, so these things comes under emotions, right? Cognition, reasoning, argumentation, reading skills, and then we have metacognition. Metacognition are basically those activities which supports the cognition. For example, let's say if somebody is time bound, okay, so obviously it's a high chance that if he is focusing well, if he is time bound, so he or she will be performing well, right? So there is a chance to that. So we do assess that also, metacognition, right? So how somebody is planning, how somebody is monitoring and evaluating the own performance. Okay, so as I said, I've already mentioned, right? Affective state is another technical word. Maybe it's not a good time to get into this affective states right now, but yes, boredom, attention, right? All these are called to be, lot of such affective states are there, but these two are the examples of the affective states. So that's how we are working actually. Okay, different devices we are using, portable EEG. Okay, like for example, let me surprise you. So do you know that whenever we study something in which we are not so comfortable, or it is very heavy on the cognitive load, the pupil of our eye, like there is a change in pupil dilation, the size of eye, the pupil gets increases. Do you know that? Maybe you know, maybe you don't know, but we do study that, right? Like that, there are a lot of changes in body occurs. The temperature of your skin may change, right? Some signals, some movement of neurons which are going inside your brain, that changes, right? We do study such changes, and based on that, we do design a system. That is what EDA is actually doing. Now let me come to the core projects, what we are dealing with, right? So one I have already shown you, which was Teacherly, made by one of our research scholar, Pankaj Chavan, right? There's another project which is dealing with students subtitle reading behavior. So you can also feel sometimes, huh? So like if I, yeah, uh, yes, of course, it's possible to start part-time. That is an option. I know it because when I've applied in my first year, although it is my first year only. So when I've applied, so there was an option for full-time and part-time. So there is a category of part-time, don't worry. Yeah. So it is dealing with the students reading behavior. So how they read subtitles, right? So maybe if you are reading subtitle in English, then you may have some different comfort zone. And if you are reading it in your own language, maybe your native language, regional language, it may affect you in some different way, right? So that behavior was being studied by one of our research scholars, Shiv Sevak Negi. Like that, we have plenty of such projects actually, which are already going on. For example, PyGuru. So let me surprise you. We have developed we have developed our own IDE, which is actually tracking the interaction log data. I told you, na, interaction log data, where person is clicking, right? For how long he's engaged with some content, right? Or the click stream, whether he's pausing a video or whether he's changing the speed of the video, whether he's going back, whether he's going forward. So all these kind of activities actually represent some cognition in your mind, right? So Devesh Singh is one of the research scholar who is working on this project, right? Apart from that, Rumana is working on metacognition. Okay, she's also one of the research scholars. So metacognition, I told you that your planning about your cognition is called metacognition, right? So apart from this, investigating. So these are few more details like investigating students learning process in virtual reality. So Anthony is working on that. Amit is working on some projects. So like that, we have actually lot of such running projects in the EDA, right? These all are in the sections of EDA and all are focusing different sections from that. So for example, as you can see, eye movement. Just now I told you about the eye dilation, right? So eye movement modeling is actually been like it is already under the observation of Mr. David, right? Debreshi is working on interaction log data, reading writing task. So that's what the overall introduction. So although we have a question session at the end, but just for this EDA, if anybody is like quite curious about something and don't want to wait at all uh, about don't want to wait at all till the last point, so feel free to ask your question. I will be available during the last question answer session also.
May I?
Yeah, sure, please go ahead.
Yeah, so actually, I am also pursuing my PhD in a similar field. It's person-centered analytics.
Okay.
So is it possible to collaborate with IIT Bombay? Because I am struggling with data. I do not like to get data for my PhD.
Okay, so what I can say, maybe this platform is not sufficient enough to talk about this, but of course, what I would suggest you, please come to the department, visit it once, and meet any one of us, and we can have a great amount of discussion over there on this.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. So consolidated suggestion is please visit once the department. Anybody else? Fine. So next, yes.
We are actually
Pardon?
we are running out of time.
Sure,
So could
sure,
we
sure.
have these questions in
Yes,
the
yes, yes,
in the
yes,
end?
yes. Over to the next, over to my colleague Zoon now. She will be talking about this.
I will show you a glimpse of
So Zoon, I'm unsharing my screen and feel free to share your screen.
Thank you, Sidhu. I will show a glimpse of department Exploration. What? No.
Setu, Kritika is sharing the screen, right?
No, I was sharing my screen.
Kritika, can okay.
Yeah,
Kritika, can you share the screen for student, please?
She isn't hearing.
I can share, by the way, no problem. Should I
Share,
share?
I'm sharing.
Okay.
Is my screen visible?
Yes. Go ahead, please. Zoom, you can go ahead.
Can I start? Going to start again. My name is Zon. I will show you a glimpse of IMA's domain of our department. IMA stands for Exploration of Emerging Technology for Education. I will try to explain you this domain in a similar manner. In a classroom, multiple teaching-related challenges are faced by teachers and students, such as creating engaging lesson plans that fit the curriculum, difficulty to explain scientific and mathematical concepts which require computational thinking of students. Researchers in this domain identify those challenges, use the existing appropriate emerging technology, for example, AR, VR, eye tracker, 3D printer, face scan, and wearable devices like Newborn, then integrate it with pedagogy for the effectiveness of study. In this process, data is collected through multiple channels, analyzed, and then reflection is made for an optimal design solution. The objective of the research is to promote effective teaching learning practice. Our department ran a course called Tools. In that course, different technological tools are explored by students under the supervision of an instructor. There are some of the research projects which emerge from that course. I will explain two of them, as Geosoft AR and StereoCam are similar in nature. So the second one is combat to master the shot in badminton, and when device is used in this project. The device is called Mubin, a wireless wearable device that has the ability to sense the physical characteristics of effort and swing. Combat Mubin-based training system process and plot the sensor data pattern of a badminton shot for reviewing the effort and swing. So this device can help learners to overcome a key challenge in badminton training by improving the ability to determine the correct instant to apply muscular effort and achieve the desired win of the end, as they are not visibly apparent. By comparing data patterns from a shot played by a trainee and the reference pattern, help user to generate a corrected feedback. This feedback will help the trainee to apply the correct technique and also acts as a positive reinforcement for playing the shot. The project is StereoCam. In this project, AR advantages have been utilized to support chemistry students in learning stereochemistry concept with 3D visualization. Stereochemistry focuses on the study of stereoisomer, which share the same molecular formula but differ in spatial orientations or their atom, resulting in different physical, chemical, or biological properties. Hence, special thinking is essential for students to interpret stereoisomers, StereoCam, our mobile application. For visualizing augmented 3D molecular models, help students by highlighting special features of molecule. For visualizing playing through molecule and for rotating, reflecting, and superimposing one molecule over other. By acting as a scaffold for students struggling in their initial stages of learning stereochemistry and help students to clearly understand its corresponding property in their minds. These are some of the ongoing research projects in IMAGE. You can see the use of different technological tools in this project, for example, smart home technology, eye tracker, VR, and EEG. In this study, we use smart home technology, eye tracker, and EEG, and virtual reality for problem solving, reading and writing tasks, EMI concept learning, and multimodal analytics in the context of middle school, UG, and PG classes. All these research projects are showcased in educational conferences and test festivals. Also, demos and workshops on exploring emerging technology are provided in schools, colleges, and NGOs. And the last is publication. Papers are presented in different educational conferences and published in journals. Thank you. Now we will request you to have a look at different project poster to understand more in detail about this project. I will hand over to Kritika now. Thank you.
Thank you, Zoon.
Okay.
So as Zoon mentioned about the publications and the conferences,
Thank you.
uh,
You are done
can I
with that,
continue,
Sajid?
Ram? Hello, Ram, can I continue?
Yes, yes. Yes, you can.
Okay, so as we mentioned about the publications thing, so we have also included the conferences that our research scholars have been to every year. So these are ICART, ICC, ICLS, T4E, Technology for Education, and EDM, Educational Data Mining. So I've also included some of the recent ones like ICC, which happened in December 2022 in Malaysia. So many of them been too for long and short papers as well as for poster presentation. And this one is for ICAR, which happened in July 2022 in Romania. Uh, now sharing with you about the organizations where our alumni are associated with. So this is MGIP associated with UNESCO, where two of our alumni are working in. Some of them are working in IIT Gandhinagar, IIT Madras, and so on. Now, let me give you an inside information about the department as well, apart from the formal core research areas that we have talked about. So, starting with the diversity thing. So, as right now you all are from different backgrounds, so the same thing you will be able to find here as well after coming here. So, people are here from MTech in computer science, in bioprocess engineering, in biotechnology, energy sciences. Then there is someone from M design as well. There's someone from MA education. There's someone from mathematics and so on. Uh, Now I'll be sharing about the culture of our department. So starting with the very first, which is Friday meeting. So every Friday we have a departmental level meeting, the objective of which is to gather and to discuss about the common agendas. For example, we do paper presentations, we discuss about events, we brainstorm ideas for organizing events. So this uh, open house also we discussed in one of the last Friday meeting. Then there are announcements, achievement celebration, and so on. Another thing is the educational field trip. So department believes in giving experiences about the existing very great initiatives which have been taken into different organizations. So very recently we went to Vigyan Ashram, which is in Pune, which is based on Gandhiji's Nai Talim, and they're doing amazing work there. Then there is one alternative school, Muktangan in Mumbai. There also we have been to learn the educational practices from the field itself. Um Now, talking about the sports, so department do encourage you to take part in extracurricular activities. And we also organize many sport activities together and play together. Um, then this is about the outdoor activities that we have been in the last year. So one of our seniors, she organized this trek to Songiri Fort, and then one day we had this bicycle riding thing in the campus itself. Um we have also celebrated festivals and events here. So once we hosted potluck, Maharashtra lunch, we celebrated Diwali and music jamming. All these things you will find here frequently. Um so this is all about the diversity and culture, which plays an equally important role along with the research areas in creating a positive working environment to work here. Uh, Now, moving on to the next subsection, which is learning opportunities at ET and future prospect. for which I would like to invite our alumni, Lakshmi ma'am from right now she's working with Kotak Education Foundation. So over to you, Lakshmi ma'am.
Hi, thanks. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Ram, how many minutes do I have?
5 to 10 minutes, ma'am.
Thanks. Please call me Lakshmi. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. So thanks. I tried starting my video. My system has some bandwidth issues, so I'm just going to go without the video. Okay. So before I talk about learning opportunities at EdTech, a short intro about myself. I'm Lakshmi. I know that I'm going to be part of this event, so I was just kind of reflecting and thinking, what do I speak on? And then I realized it's been 10 years that I've been associated with the department. So 6 years, I did my PhD here from 2015 to 2021 is when I completed my PhD. So 6 years there. And before that, I think 2 years I was kind of contemplating and I was in touch with the department. So there. And then to 2013, so 2013 to 15, 2 years there, and from 21 to 23. So it's been 10 years of my association now. And what did I do at EdTech? Like I said, I was a PhD student. And after completing my PhD, I joined Education Foundation, Kotak Education Foundation. Here, in the current role, I head the digital learning solution vertical, and also I'm part of, I head the centralized content and training team. So this is the current role that I'm doing. So to talk about learning opportunities at ET, what I want to start off and say that education is a complex socio-technical problem, right? So to solve such a complex socio-technical problem, you will need interdisciplinary skills. So that is number one. There are 4 points that I'm going to be talking about. One is the interdisciplinary skills. The opportunity to pursue interdisciplinary skills is something that you will get as a learning opportunity in education technology. So we have had different, like they talk about the 4 thrust areas. So even in that, if it is the disciplinary practices that you're interested in, it is, I think, tech T-lead thrust area. In that, if it is specifically computer, computing educational research, then there is a small subgroup of people there who work in computer. I think Spruha, one of the current PhD research scholars, is working in computing education research. So your opportunity to pursue your area of interest within these thrust areas and interdisciplinary skills, that's number 1 point that I want to talk about. Then this second thing and very important thing is education as science and engineering, because we are situated at the Indian Institute of Technology. So looking at education through the perspective of science and engineering is something that you will get as a learning opportunity. What do I mean by that? It means that, you will have different, Setu, I think, spoke in detail about how they look at data. And there is learning science that comes in. Then there is sociology angle also, because there are some courses that you get to do with Yoga Center of Science and Education. And then you get to do a lot of courses also in the IDC center, the design center, which is in IIT Bombay, Sitara. So, I mean, yeah, it's your interest of what you want to pursue, right? So looking at education as science and engineering. The third are the skills and the innovation that's there, because that's definitely part of it. What are the skills that you need in the workplace, like data analytics, or be it research, be it qualitative research, quantitative research, quasi experimental research. So they go well beyond what is just that's there currently there. So I think that's number 3 that I would say. And the fourth one, I think, are values, right? I think there is a very distinct nature of values in people in the department, because we all are looking to solve, like I said, the socio-technical problem. At some point in time, we are looking because we want to make a change, and we are there because we think that this will be maybe a blip that we want to create. So I think these are the 4 things that I wanted to talk about. Future prospects, right? So moving on, when you say future prospects, we are here, and there's a very unique bunch of people, I would think, because like I said, we are here to make a change. But apart from that, what is there in the sector, right? The latest report that I read, which is December 2022, and maybe it's been 6 months, but still what it says is EdTech is $300 billion industry by 2029. And in India alone, it's pegged in the year 2023, it's pegged at a $6 billion industry. So these are just big numbers to kind of talk about. But also you look at state government spending on education, specifically Haryana, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, has increased. So everyone is looking at investing and making a change in education. So given that that's happening, you might want to think how much opportunities is it the tech industry that generative AI adding, piquing everyone's interest, and how is it going to change the face of education? So yeah, ChatGPT being one case in point. So given that this is what it is, I feel, do you want to go to the edtech industry, or do you want to look at institutes? Because institutes themselves are looking at, how to move courses online, right? Like, for example, there was a huge case study on how ISB is doing much better in terms of revenue generation as compared to the various IIMs. So most of the institutes are also trying to create their own, online courses and modules. So institutes are is a second opportunity. The third opportunity is education has become a lifelong goal. I mean, especially after pandemic, now everyone wants to do upskilling in education. So there is a third space that comes in, right? And then the fourth space that I'm in, and I believe I wanted to be in, is the social sector. So in social sector, there is so much that you could do. Do you want to look at social sector consulting? Do you want to look at content creation? Or do you want to go and implement projects? Do you want to work with the government? So there is so much that's available. So what I'm saying is, yeah, the opportunities are immense. So I didn't know if I make any sense, but I thought my time is up. And thank you for this opportunity. Thanks. Anything specific, Ram and others, if you want me to talk about next 5 minutes, I can do that.
Yeah, Lakshmi. So I think now is the time when we'll open the floor for participants for their queries. So it would be great if you can stay for 5-10 minutes, and if there are any queries related to alumni or like the work opportunities after it would be great if you can take those.
Sure, 5 minutes I can wait. No issues.
Sure. Yeah, thanks. Okay, over to you, Kritika.
Kritika, you are on mute, I guess.
So with this, let's now move on to the question answer session, in which our audience can ask any question that they would like to, and the faculty and all the students would like to answer that and address that as much as possible. So for that, I would like to request you so that we could take it in a coherent way. So I would like to request you to raise your hands, and I would or else write in the chat box, and I would try to coordinate this
So before we begin, I just want to give one clarification to Bhavesh Singh. Setu had mentioned in response to your query that it is possible to do part-time PhD, and I just want to qualify that response. It is possible to do part-time PhD, but there are some constraints that are around it. For example, if you're a college teacher, it is possible, and you need to get leave from your college for 1 year of coursework that for which you have to be here, and you have to get a letter of support from the college. And if you are from the industry, you need to be in an edtech related industry. So it is not any industry that can do part-time PhD, and it has to be an edtech related industry. And once again, your industry has to say that they will be supporting you for the PhD. So that is called an external PhD registration. The first one that I talked about was the college teacher category. The second one that I talked about was the external category. So these are the two categories in which part-time is possible, but there are constraints around it. Yeah, we can go ahead with the rest of the Q&A.
Hello.
Please
May
go
I?
ahead. Please go ahead.
Yes, the question that I have is for a full-time PhD, it's mandatory that we have to be there in the campus, or is there a option that we can take the course offline?
You have to be there on campus. There is no offline model.
Okay.
So all our students are on campus. I mean, because of the pandemic, for a brief period of time, we were allowing them to be at home. But all full-time students are required to be on campus, except when they are out for field work with approval from their guide and the department.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, we can hear you. There is a slight problem with your voice.
Feeble? Is it feeble?
Yeah, a little feeble, but you can go ahead, please.
Okay, all right. First of all, thank you so much for bringing this open house. Like, really appreciate it. Like, so much has been clearer than what is mentioned in the website, seen all the projects and the trust areas. I'm Rastogi. I currently work in EdTech, and I have
Hi, Rastogi. Can we take the Dr. Lakshmi's question first? She needs to leave in a minute, so and then we can come back to you.
Mine is like an overall question. It's not just for Dr. Lakshmi, but then her talk on opportunity was like very impressive.
Sure.
So
Sure. Give us a minute, okay?
Sure,
Give us a minute. So, Dr. Lakshmi, there is this
It's
question
okay,
for
Ram.
you.
I think I'll wait for her question also. It's okay. I can go after her.
Okay, okay. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, Rastogi, you can go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. When there was this explanation regarding the project on educational data analytics, right, which was like little expanse, and I get to a point because right now we in our projects in our EdTech Institute, we are currently working on that, mostly on the mock interview where there is an AI recognition, but then coming over here and then looking at the project perspectives that you have explained over here, the funnel is like, much more, it looks much more deep dive. The funnel on the cognitive and metacognitive, which is like, which is something that I would really want to do and something that is very impressive. But my question is that when we design such structures, when we design projects like this, considering all that you have mentioned here, is there certain demography that is aimed at? For example, in the process or in the work that I do, we always aim for tier-wise, city or like that. But then is there any consideration when you are taking projects like, okay, this is the tier that we are aiming for, and the feedback has to be particularly from this tier? That end goal and then the beginning goal, all those are taken into consideration, or there is much more deep dive to it that we'll be learning throughout the courses? That would be my question.
So, of course, demography plays an important role. In fact, it plays that much important role that I can quote a general statement also. For example, demography is not just about like, just imagine if you are doing a multimodal project, okay, EDA project on kids, maybe for first class kids, second class kids, or KG, right? So, of course, their action may be very different from a mature undergraduate student, right? So whenever you are tracking data from sensors, so demography is definitely going to play a big role, because you have to, you must know that who is your participants and what is a general expected reaction from that. Not only that, sometimes, like, unfortunately, some people have some physical inabilities also. Maybe I'm not talking about the blind person, but just think of it like this. You might have seen some people blink their eyes very frequently, right? So know your participants is very, very important for EDA projects. Yeah. Maybe if some seniors would like to pitch into this from EDA, if I would have, like,
Yeah.
if it
Hi,
is
Ms.
required.
Yogi. This is Romana. I'm a senior EDA student here. So as Setu mentioned, although demography plays a big role, a tier 2 city student would behave a little differently than what a student from IIT Bombay would behave like. Yes. So although in our experiments, we do happen to, have a certain, what do you call, audience, uh, but we make sure that our generalizations or our findings are generalizable to a bigger audience. So although we are able to experiment on a certain section of the participants, our higher aim is to be able to generalize it to other students. And there are some studies where we have done comparative analysis between people from different contexts. Like, for example, we have compared how students interact or how students learn Python programming language in India versus Malaysia, or in India versus US. So yes. So so there is a certain level of generalizability that we aim at, but yeah, demographics do play a big role.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Any other thing if you would like to ask?
Ram, can I go now?
Sure, Lakshmi, can go ahead.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Shunika, your question seems to be very interesting. I'll take the first one. I think there is nothing remarkable with respect to transition from academia to industry, because I think every place is very similar, except that the I would like to sum it up in a sentence. In industry, action precedes thought, right? You're very action biased. You will have to act before you kind of, prove, or you have a lot of time to, what to say, ponder and do some experiments and keep doing and keep revising until an acceptable level of, what to say, perfection would be a bad word, but acceptable level of tolerance in terms of, I think the tolerance is the percentage in terms of tolerance, because in academia, when you publish something, you're expected to have a certain sense of tolerance, but that I think is flexible in the industry. So industry is more action biased, and yeah, that was my thought. Yeah, thanks. How much time it will take to complete the PhD? Yeah, tough one. I don't know. Yeah, thanks, Ronika. I don't know. I leave it to the senior PhD students. I finished it in 6 years, but everyone's journey is different in PhD. Yeah, Silmana answered that question.
I think Srunika has posted one more question in the chat box, Ram. This
Yes.
a
So if
question.
any
Uh,
I
Final
final
think
year
there
year
is a
PhD
question
scholar.
from Srunika, which says a question to the final year PhD scholars. What advice would you give your pre-PhD self? So I think, yeah, it's a tough one too. But I think PhD is a big commitment. It requires you to work for 5 to 6 years in a very low paying job, I would say. You have to work a lot. You have to put in a lot more efforts than you would think you would do for any other job. So yes, it's although it's an interesting field to be, you have a lot of freedom to exercise. You have a lot of space to learn. You have an amazing peer group that you are surrounded with. I think you need a lot of motivation to be in this particular situation. There may be other factors that may affect you during this phase of your life. For example, you may be having a family, or you may be having some other issues or some financial constraints. So you need to be really motivated to get into this first of all. So I think motivation is a primary aspect that I would like to, remind myself in my pre-PhD to my pre-PhD self. Second is motivation towards ET-PhD. So we understand that core PhDs are different, but ET-PhD is something different, right? So what are your job prospects? What do you want to do after your PhD? So a little bit clarity on that would help you select, your PhD seat or PhD domain, I would say. So yeah, I think these two are primary for me.
So there are some queries about MTech also. So maybe one of the MTech students can unmute and just give a quick overview of their what is to be expected in the MTech program.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Can you please name yourself? Who is speaking?
Myself, Sogato Pramanik.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
I have done my BTech in 2016 from WBUT, and now want to pursue my MTech in computer science or IT. So, what should be further process? How much it costs, etc., etc. Thank you.
I think Guru can answer the MTech question.
I think he want to take admission in the computer science, huh? He said, or in our department. Can you clarify?
Right.
Yeah. So he want to basically. So what happened in IIT for MTech admission in MTech program? So each department has different procedure how they proceed to take the to select the candidate. So as of now, we don't know about the computer science department how they take their procedure to select the candidate. So you have to visit on their official website. You will get the all the information there also.
Okay.
So, Sugat, can I ask a question to you?
Yeah, sure.
Why not ET?
Yeah, this is also possible, but tell me what I have to follow for this.
Now we are the correct person to answer. So, I request Gurudev, can you pitch in now?
Okay. So I have admitted in the COVID period. So I have just applied through the GATE portal. That is the institute which handling the procedure. So you have to apply on IIT Bombay website for the admission. Then you have to give your reference to the each department, which department you want. So after that, you will. I think this year we had the interview for the. Can we confirm? Because we had the direct admission based on our GATE score. Ramdas, do you have interview this year for the MTech guys also?
Ram, sir, if you are here, can you pitch in, please?
Yeah.
So for this is Ram Kumar. I'm also one of the faculty at ET department. So for the MTech, we mentioned in the website, also in the brochure, there will be a written test and interview for MTech selection from this year. Like last 2 years, we did not have any interview or written test, but this year we will have it. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. If there are any more queries about MTech admission or the experience, we can take in here. So, like, there was this one query which I received directly was like, can you describe what was what were the courses that you took and what was your overall experience during the MTech program? So, Guru, if you can share your experience and the courses that you took.
Okay, so we have to took around 8 to 9 courses throughout the 2 year of throughout the program, and there is one also industrial internship for 1.5 months. So these are the two, and in the final year you have to work on your master thesis project. So my more interest on creating the educational content or the education in the teaching perspective. So I took the courses based on that. Like so in first semester, we have the core courses that anyhow we have to took, and that they are more related to the designing content and understanding what is edtech and learning sciences, all this. So for that, there are different courses like in first semester, I completed human computer interaction courses, learning analytics and educational data mining courses, then adaptive tutoring system. Along that, so my more interest in data analytics. So in my second year, I have completed my one courses on text educational text data analysis, that is natural processing language domain. So based on your interest, we had the different courses. Like there is also a educational game designing courses where we uh, learn about how to create the educational game which will fulfill the learner criteria to make make educational game and let them to learn more, uh, let them learn in funny ways. So yes, based on your interest, you can take the courses. And also the we have the different internship opportunity, like in which domain you want to go. So like we have took the internship in a different profile. That is, I took the internship as a learning data analytics. One of my friend has took the in analyzing the learning that is analyzing the learning content, like that. So yeah. Any other question?
Yeah, and another thing I want to ask that literally I'm interested for EdTech, but how much does it cost for this?
How
Course
does?
fee?
Okay. So I think this from this year the fees has changes now. So I think around per semester the admission or the academic fees we call it is around 26 or 32,000 per semester, and there is also one um, mesh charges. Like per semester it is 27,000. So overall cost it is for one semester is around 60,000.
And is this and rather than this?
No, I think rather than this, you don't have to pay anything. If
Okay.
there is changes in the fee structure, then only that one. Apart from this academic fees and the in academic fees, all the hostel and the tuition all included. The 20, I talk about the 27,000. It is about the mesh charges that you have to pay at one time during the start of the semester. So
Okay.
for first semester, it is total around 60 to 65,000 per semester.
Including hostel charges.
Yeah.
Okay. And if I know, if I don't need to stay at hostel,
then you don't have to pay the hostel fees and the mess charges. You can opt for the day scholar. So you can visit for the classes in the morning and leave whenever you want.
if I live in West Bengal, then is it possible?
Yes.
I am living in West Bengal, then is it possible?
No, no, you have to stay outside the campus now. How can you conduct? How can you attend the classes from the West Bengal? Because IIT Bombay is now completely offline mode. So you have to
Okay,
be
okay.
here in the campus, or you don't
Okay.
want to stay in the campus, then you have to took the room outside the campus.
Okay, okay. I have to be
Yeah.
there.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
There is a question from Gorita also. Key skills required for data analytics. So, uh, Gorita, like a general statement for this is key skills is mathematics, some knowledge of mathematics, and some knowledge for programming also. This is the general statement. But the practical experience, because right now I'm doing that. So the practical experience of mine, my practical experience says that you have to be just curious enough, and that is enough. Whatever rest of the mathematics required, that you can learn during the course itself. Whatever the programming is required, that also you can learn during the course. That is why we are in interdisciplinary actually. Anyone would like to ask anything else for the outside projects? I guess Ritan sir has already replied in the chat. So if anybody would like to know about it, you can go through with that chat.
By the way, I have another questions like that. Excuse me.
Yes,
We
yes,
can hear you.
yes.
Go
We are
ahead.
listening.
Yeah. I want to know also what is the eligibility criteria? How, what should I have to get admission, marks related, and get result rank, something else.
Gurudev, can you
Age
answer this,
limit,
please?
anything
I've
else?
already
Yeah.
put the link in the chat, which gives
Yes.
all this information. It is the admissions link on the departmental web page. Okay, so you can just look at that. Can one of the students also put the admissions email ID on the chat so that if people have any further specific queries, they can contact us on that email ID?
Okay. Thank you.
Hello. And about the gate cutoff, so institute will release the department-wise gate cutoff list. You can visit the official admission web page of IIT Bombay.
Any further question from any of the participant?
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Tushar here. My question is to Guru.
Yes. Yes,
Uh,
Tushar.
Guru just has mentioned this. He's just doing project on educational text mining, data mining. I just
Yeah.
request you can just elaborate on this thing.
Yes.
Can you just
Can you repeat it?
can you just explain these things? Hello, Guru, am I audible?
So you are audible, but I guess there is little noise of kids around you.
Just a moment.
Yeah, can you do something about it, please?
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, now you can.
Just Guru has just mentioned that he's just doing project on educational text mining. So I just request Guru just you can just explain a little bit this
Okay.
concept.
So I'm not doing project on educational data mining. I did the courses that is running in our department. Okay. So what happened na, like I'll explain ki what we learn in that courses, and you can think about the what you can do in the future, or if you want to take the admission in that. So what now we have in education the data, there are different type of data available for us, like there is a numerical data like about student, numerical data or continuous data like about student, different features. So also we have a lot of data, text data, like if you go into the YouTube, like I take the example of the one of the YouTube channel, like if I have the YouTube channel and I want to analyze the how student feel about that courses, so I will what I will do, I will have the comments on that YouTube channel. Okay, so I can collect all that comment, and using this text data I can analyze ki how that particular video or the courses is running, like how people feel about that courses. It is boring, or it is frustrated or something like that. So based on their comment I can extract the more useful information from that comments. So
Okay.
likewise you, yeah.
So you want to say you want to do this sentimental analysis on that
Yes,
particular.
yes, sentimental analysis you can do that.
I have just query with this sentimental analysis or with this text mining. Can we
Okay.
just make some project or program that we can assess the subjective question for the examination?
For the examination. So so using this, one of my friend is working on that project, like generating the question from the text data. He is making the automatic system using the NLP to generate the MCQs question. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, in that that particular software gives the feedback to the question which that relate with the learning objective. I believe I have just saw that particular paper on the IIT Bombay website. So my query is simply to suppose somebody is giving subjective question on the computer edition,
Subjective
and
question.
there are two type of questions. One is objective and subjective, written test kind of thing. How to assess the skills in the software? And I mean this text analysis for this particular purpose.
Yeah, you can explore the for the subjective question also, but you need to require a lot more understanding about that domain, that is NLP domain. Okay. Yeah, it is possible now because that you heard about the Chat GPT. Na? So Chat GPT is that model. So it is more productively. So like it is a higher order project, we can say that. So you need required to understanding full of NLP, deep learning model like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Guru.
Thank you.
If there are other queries, we can share. If there are none, we can wrap it up. Give me a second. Yeah, so if there are none, we can wrap this session up, I guess. So, yeah.
So, if there is no more questions remaining, can we end up like this? All the participants who have interacted, they can feel free to share their feedback for the session. You can share it on the chat. You can tell us that what things you loved and whatever corrections you feel.
Sir, one more thing that I would like to ask. Sir. Hello, sorry to interrupt.
Yes, Tushal, please go ahead.
Sir, is there any research at IIT Bombay going on regarding psychomotor domains? We are emphasizing more on the skills, emphasizing hand-eye coordination.
Tushal, check your mic once. Maybe there is some problem because your voice is not pretty much audible.
Am I audible, sir?
Better now.
Yeah. Sir, I just wanted to know, sir, is there any research going on at IIT Bombay for this affective and the psychomotor domain, where the hand-eye coordination and the
Again, we missed you, Tushal. If you can type your question in the chat, that will be a little more feasible. If your
Yes,
mic
sir.
is not working well. Yeah. So all rest of the participants, if there is no question, please feel free to share your feedback on the chat. And after addressing the questions, we'll be ready to bind up the session.
Gorita has one more question in the chat.
Yeah, Gorita, so the question regarding ChatGPT. Uh, so, so we are also associated with the Ethics Society. That is a non-profit organization that tends to create awareness about education technology and bring together practitioners and researchers in the field. So we are going to have a session on specifically ChatGPT under Ethics Society. So I think that will be a better place to answer this question. So I think we have overshot our time. We were supposed to round up by 12. It's 12:15. Kritika, I would request you to wrap up this session, please. Thank you.
Okay, so I would like to, with this end of Q&A session, I would like to thank everyone from ET department, our faculty, students, alumni, and as well as the audience for making this event successful. And I hope you all had a valuable experience here, and it will help you make a good choice for taking admissions. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. We'll wrap up this meeting here. Setu, please end the session for us.
Sure.
Ram,
I'll
just
be in the
last
session.
question, I think by Tushar, we left in between. Should we
Hello?
should we address this question as well?
Sir, two questions.
Yes, please address the question.
Okay.
Sir, I wanted to know, sir, is there any research is going on at IIT Bombay regarding this psychomotor domain, sir? How to assess the psychomotor domain or emphasize training on the psychomotor domain? And second thing is, sir, is there any research is going on the effectiveness of this skill training, sir? How to assess the effectiveness of skill training?
Hi, Tushar. Yeah, there is a project going on. You might have seen in one of the slides called the Perspects. So there we are using VR domain to analyze how it is a driving related VR environment and how the driver should behave upon different scenarios. So that kind of things are going on. And there are certain projects which run on affective states also. So based on the we collect face related data using cameras to analyze the affective state. So you might have seen in one of the slides. So it is there.
Thank you.
Okay. If there are no more questions, we can wrap this up. So, Setu, please end the session for us. And thank you, everyone, for joining. Hope you found the session informative.
So I'm ending up it.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.